Hello everyone, I'm Orkun Düzgün and I'm the advertising manager here in my Amazon Guy. And today we will be discussing a new finding about Amazon attribution and ASINs with variations. So if you are selling if you have a parent ASIN and if you're selling different variations of your product, you might come across with this issue, or this might be the first time you're seeing it. But basically what we are seeing is there's a difference between the business report and the advertising console when we are checking the data. And this is super important to understand the attribution in Amazon and find out which ASINs are really working for you, like which particular child ASINs are working for you or not. So let me just start up with an example. So this is a screenshot from business report, as you can see, and from the data you can see that this is 30 days data, and those parts are basically censored just because this is a client data. But what you can see is that in the last 30 days, it seems like from the business report, which is the correct data, we sold $390 worth of product. But if we check even one campaign, this is just one campaign for the same ASIN. I'm not considering the rest of the campaign, so we have more. But basically, only for this one, you can see that it seems like we sold 785 from this ASIN alone. So how this is possible? Why we are seeing 785 here on the advertising console, but we are seeing 390 for this dashboard. So by the way, this is 30 days, and again, this is still 30 days. So we are looking at the same date range. So there is actually one specific reason for it, and which is the variations. So let me just give you one example about this variation. So this is a variation, and as you can see, we have 1 count, 2 count, 3 count, and 5 count. So those are like 4 different variations of one parent ASIN. And when we are advertising, so let's just do it this way. All right. So let's say that we have one parent ASIN, right? Now let's say we have one ASIN. This is just ASIN 1, a standalone ASIN without any child ASINs. So let's say that you are advertising this ASIN, and when you are advertising it, what's going to happen is that we will be showing our ads somewhere in the search results. Let's say that, so what I mean by the search results is actually this part. So we typed, let's say, goalie, and we are seeing the sponsored, like the sponsors over here, like the video, I don't know, like different sponsors. So basically, this video is all about those positions. So let's say that we have an advertising over here, and this is A1. And let's say that a customer clicked on it, right? So when they click on it, what's happening is that they're actually coming to our product detail page. Let me just make myself smaller. Oh, never mind. Okay. So they're going to our product detail page, meaning that this page, like with our image, with our title and everything. So since this is only one area variation, like it doesn't even have a variation. So this is just a standalone ASIN. We won't have any variations here, nothing here. So what we're going to have is the buy box button only. And when someone buys it, what's going to happen is that this ASIN will have in the advertising console 1 click, 1 sale. And this ASIN, if we check the business report, we will also see that we got 1 click and 1 sale. So no issues until here, right? And it starts a little bit, like it becomes a little bit more complicated when we have the variations. So again, this is ASIN 1, but this time this is a parent ASIN, meaning that we have 2 child ASINs under this. So let's say that this is A2. I'll just color those so that we can follow along together easily. And this is A3, right? Perfect. In this case, let's say again, someone is searching for a product and we are advertising our A2 and A3. So just as an info, you cannot advertise the parent, you can only advertise the child ASINs. So let's say that we are advertising our A1 and A2 and A3 in the same campaign. What's going to happen is that you can either get a position for that keyword for A2 or A3. you cannot have something like this. You cannot have two different slots for the same parent ASIN. So for the child ASINs that are under the same parent ASIN. So for example, those ones are all different parent ASINs, and it is not possible to have one pack and two pack right next to each other with sponsored. So this is important to know. So those are like this, and if you can just go into one, it will be easier for you. So as you can see, this is one pack, two pack, but we don't have any like color different colors. So this is the purple one with the count differences and stuff like that. So perfect. Since we know how advertising in variations work, so by the way, you should always be advertising the bestseller ASIN, the bestseller child ASIN to get the most efficient data, to get the most efficient results. So let's say that A2 is being advertised here, right? Perfect. When someone clicks on this, now this is where it becomes a little bit confusing. When someone, let's go over here. When someone clicks, they just arrive to our product detail page. Again, the same page that we were discussing, like we have the image, we have the titles, but now the difference is we have two different variations. We have, let's call them colors, right? The red color, A2, ASIN 2, and ASIN 3 purple color. And again, we have the buy box button. But since the client clicked from A2, they will be redirecting to A2 child ASIN. But they can always switch, right? They can go to A1, A2, like they can just switch and they can click buy now after doing that. So let's say that they clicked A2, Amazon showed our A2 ASIN, then customer reached here, then changed the product to the A3 one, and then they bought that one, right? They bought A3. And this is the new they buy box. They bought it. And now what's going to happen is that, now what's happened is client clicked here and they didn't buy. The customer clicked here, but they didn't buy. For the purple one, they didn't click the advertising, but actually they bought the product. So this is where it becomes complicated. And this is where we need to understand the attribution data. So in the advertising report, what we are going to see is that A2 will look like we have one click and one sale on the ads console. This is the ads. In the business report, we will see that A2 has no one click and no sale. And this is again for the advertising console A3. On the A3, what we are going to see is that we have no clicks, but no sale. And in the business report for A3, what we are going to see is that we have 0 clicks, but 1 sales. So this is where the data becomes super complicated. And that's the reason why we are seeing that difference. And to be able to find this out, actually, we should be checking something called ASIN-based reporting. So you can just this advertise product report from, let me just put me over here, advertise product report from the advertising console, but this is like a completely different video, but I'm not going to go into details of it. But what you can have is a report based on each ASIN. And as you can see, like this is again, the data is censored out, but what we are doing is actually we are combining the ads data with the business report data to find out each ASIN's TACOS, each ASIN's ACOS, conversion rate, and stuff like that. But when we work with the child ASINs for this specific client, we realize that the ad sales seem to be super high, but the organic sales was actually like the total sales, like even though the ad sales was 3,000, the organic sales was only $390, meaning that the organic sales is minus 3,000, which is impossible. And this is where we realize that this is not a correct data to check, just because there is like an attribution going on, and we should be always checking the how customer is clicking the ad and where they're redirecting to. And if we check the data by parent ASIN, so though on the column A we are seeing the parent ASINs, and when we check the data now, we can see that the data makes much more sense. So the total sales is from the business report, and this is the PPC sales. And by just doing the math, subtracting it, we can just get the organic sales, and this way we can just get the tail cost, we can just get the A cost, and this way we can actually find out which parent ASIN is not effective at all. And from this report, you can easily see that the red highlighted ones, are actually struggling to hold on. So this one is actually, we know that this is like a new product and we are launching that product, and that's why we are just pushing the PPC on that one. But still, let's say that you didn't know it. So this way, what you could do is you could just find out which parent ASIN is not working for you, then find a strategy for you that would actually work. Like you can maybe pause some of the ASINs, maybe you can find out what's the issue with that parent ASIN, and you can also find out, let's say that if you are advertising A3, but if you're seeing that the sales are actually like the conversion is way better than A2, then you can basically stop advertising A3 and just focusing on A2, just because when a customer goes into the ad, they will basically see your like the all variations that you have. So it doesn't really matter if you are advertising one or many. Of course, it would depend. It would depend if there's like a size difference, like not size difference, but the color difference, style difference, like something that would actually catch the attention of the client. Of course, that's something else. But for this specific one, we find out that this was the reason, and then we were able to identify the issue, use this report to understand how the attribution works, and basically troubleshoot the issue. So if you feel like you're also having issues with your variated product, just try to use this reporting system, and we will have a separate video about this one. But try to use your reports efficiently, try to find out which parent ASINs are working for you or not, and after finding that, try to understand which child ASINs are actually working better for you. So then you can actually strategize your PPC strategy. So let me know if this video was helpful for you, and if there is something that you want to add, and if there is something that you're still struggling with, just let me know. Drop your comments down below, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.